Okay, so when you think about AI in the supply chain, what pops into your head?
Probably the big stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like autonomous trucks cruising down the highway,
Yeah.
maybe drones whizzing around warehouses, robots moving pallets. That's kind of the image we see everywhere.
It is, yeah. Those visuals are powerful.
But what if?
Yeah.
What if the AI that's really making waves right now isn't, a giant robot, but something working, like totally behind the scenes?
That's precisely it. It's a fascinating contrast, really, because while all that flashy hardware, the trucks, the robots, while that's super exciting and definitely being worked on.
Still very much in development.
Right. The surprising thing is that the real revolution, the stuff delivering results today, is happening much more quietly. It's in the, let's call it the administrative workflows.
So not the physical movement, but the processes behind the move.
Welcome to Logistics Pulse, sponsored by Mothership. Skip the broker to save big on LTL shipments, or deliver same day nationwide. For more insights like these, don't forget to subscribe to Logistics Pulse on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
That's a really key point. So for this deep dive, we're going to explore exactly that. Why AI-powered workflow automation seems to be giving, faster and maybe more solid returns right now
Yeah.
compared to those big hardware projects like self-driving trucks.
Yeah.
And we want to zoom in on one specific, maybe overlooked detail, something called accessorials, and see how AI is tackling that and having this, surprisingly huge financial impact.
And our mission here is to basically give you a shortcut to getting up to speed on this really critical but maybe less hyped up area of supply chain tech.
Let's dig in then. We see the headlines, the buzz around autonomous trucks, robotics. It is exciting stuff. Why does that tend to dominate the conversation so much?
Well, they're visually dramatic, aren't they? A self-driving truck is just cool. It captures the imagination in a way that, software doesn't always.
Sure.
But while it's exciting, the reports we've seen are pretty clear. These technologies are seriously expensive.
Right.
Incredibly complex. And honestly, they're still years away from being widespread. You're talking massive infrastructure changes, regulatory hurdles, huge R&D costs.
So long road ahead, literally.
Pretty much. Now, contrast that with AI workflow automation.
The low-hanging fruit for AI in supply chains. Why is that? What makes it so much more, immediate?
Because it's something you can deploy today, like right now. That's the key difference. It doesn't need new expensive hardware. That's a massive plus. And it can usually plug right into the systems companies are already using.
So less disruption, faster implementation.
Companies can start seeing benefits almost straight away. Tasks like, the accessorial selection we mentioned, but also, quote, generation, handling exceptions, stuff like that. Prime examples where AI can step in immediately.
And the payoff?
It's direct. Faster bookings, fewer mistakes, which means better margins. And, in today's market, that kind of operational efficiency, it's not just a nice to have.
It's competitive edge.
Absolutely. Right now.
Okay, so you keep bringing up this word accessorials. It definitely sounds like industry jargon, but you're saying it's a key area where AI is making a real difference. So break it down for us. What exactly are these accessorials and why are they such a big deal?
Right, yeah. They're basically extra charges for services that a carrier performs beyond just the basic point A to point B transport.
Like add-ons.
Kind of, yeah. Think of things like needing a lift gate on the truck because the destination doesn't have a loading dock, or delivering to a residential address instead of a business. Inside delivery, maybe special handling if it's going to a trade show.
So specific extra services needed for certain shipments.
And they seem small, but they significantly impact the final cost of the shipment. And crucially, they can affect the carrier's performance, like can they even make the delivery if the wrong services are booked?
And I guess the problem is, if you get these wrong, if you select the wrong ones, or maybe worse, forget them entirely.
That's where the pain comes in. This leads to really frustrating rebills, getting an unexpected extra charge after the fact.
Ooh, nobody likes those.
Nobody. And it can cause actual delivery failures if, say, the truck shows up without a required liftgate. Then you have costly delays, angry customers. It's a major headache.
Okay, so it's not just about money, it's about service quality too.
Definitely. But the financial pain, it's substantial. We found that just one missed accessorial can easily result in hundreds of dollars in extra fees.
Hundreds for one missed detail.
The average accessorial charge itself might be around, say, $60, but the rebill from some carriers, if you miss it, that can shoot up past $500 per shipment.
Wow, that adds up fast.
It really does. It's the kind of hidden cost that, finance departments hate. And here's the really tricky part. Often, you don't even know about this extra cost until after the delivery is done.
It's too late to fix it.
It's like this hidden penalty for missing a detail up front, a tax on inefficiency almost.
This makes the AI application much clearer. So you mentioned Mothership has built an AI solution for this specific problem. How does their system actually work to stop these errors before they happen?
Mothership system is a really good practical example of this AI workflow automation in action. What it does is it analyzes the pickup and delivery addresses
Oh,
using a mix of public data like mapping data, zoning info, and their own proprietary data they've built up. The AI looks at these addresses and identifies if they meet criteria that usually need certain accessorials.
like spotting a house address.
So if the delivery address is flagged as being in a known residential zone, the system will then recommend adding the residential delivery accessorial during the quoting stage.
Ah, so it suggests it before you book.
Precisely. And it does this for others too, like limited access locations, maybe a school or a construction site or container freight stations, trade show locations, and that liftgate service we talked about. It depends on what the analysis finds for that specific address and shipment.
Okay, so it flags potential needs. Does it just add them automatically?
No. And this is really important. The suggestions pop up when you're getting the quote, but they are not automatically applied. The user, the human, still sees the recommendations and has the final say. They can review, accept, or reject them.
So it keeps human control in the loop.
Preserves that control and accountability. And another interesting thing is they also offer this through an API, meaning high-volume shippers, companies moving a lot of freight, can basically integrate this same recommendation logic directly into their own internal systems, like their transportation management system or TMS.
Got it. So they can automate getting these suggestions within their own tools.
Right.
So the big benefits here seem pretty clear than fewer missed accessorials, right? Better, quote, accuracy.
Definitely. It directly tackles that problem of forgetting or selecting the wrong thing, leads to much more accurate upfront pricing, and way fewer of those painful post-shipment corrections and rebills.
And you mentioned their database. Does the AI get smarter as they gather more address data?
Yeah, absolutely. As their address intelligence database grows and gets refined, its ability to accurately detect, say, residential locations or those tricky limited access sites improves. So the recommendations become even more reliable over time.
And the impact is immeasurable.
Very much so. The data we looked at showed that since they launched this tool, their shippers, tens of thousands of them, have collectively saved over $1 million.
Wow. Over $1 million.
Yeah, just from avoiding those post-shipment rebills, billing adjustments, and also sometimes missed discounts you might have gotten if you'd booked correctly up front.
That's genuinely impressive. It really shows how fixing what seems like a tiny administrative detail with AI can have a massive bottom line impact.
It absolutely does. It highlights that AI isn't just about, speed or basic accuracy. It can actively protect revenue by solving problems before they even become problems. That's a huge takeaway.
Yeah, that prevention aspect is key. Now, something else that stood out was this philosophy they seem to have. Inform, not override. The idea that the best AI tools support human operators, they don't just replace them. Why is that approach so important, especially in something as complex as logistics?
It's critical, really, because logistics, it's full of nuance, right? There are always judgment calls. Humans have to make decisions based on specific situations, customer needs that might be unique, maybe internal business rules that aren't easily codified.
Things an algorithm might miss.
Context is everything, and that's why systems like Motherships are designed to suggest or recommend rather than just automatically applying changes. It builds trust. The user feels empowered, not replaced.
So it speeds things up, provides expertise, but doesn't take away the final decision.
Precisely. It's powerful decision support. It accelerates the workflow, makes the user smarter and faster, but it keeps the accountability firmly with the human operator. They still own the outcome.
So thinking about this more broadly, what does this all mean for, say, companies trying to scale up quickly or maybe training new people?
Well, this kind of hybrid approach, AI assisting humans, is incredibly valuable there. It helps to sort of codify best practices. It embeds expertise into the workflow.
Like a digital expert assistant?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It guides newer staff, ensures consistency, but without creating this rigid, brittle automation that could easily backfire if an unusual situation pops up. It's about making the humans more effective, amplifying their capabilities, not just trying to automate them away.
That makes a lot of sense. It feels like a much more practical and frankly, achievable way to use AI right now.
I think so too.
This has been really insightful. Let's just quickly recap the big takeaways. We've seen this surprising immediate value in AI workflow automation, maybe more so right now than in the big futuristic hardware.
Right, the focus on practical, deployable solutions delivering ROI today.
And we dove deep into accessorials, this seemingly small detail, and saw how intelligently automating just that one piece can prevent major headaches and literally save companies millions of dollars.
Over $1 million saved by tackling that one specific pain point proactively.
So that leaves us with a final thought, something for you, the listener, to mull over.
Building on what we discussed, if AI can save millions just by fixing something like missed accessorials and logistics, think about what other small details might exist in other industries. Seemingly minor friction points, administrative tasks, overlooked details. Where could AI-powered workflow automation step in? And crucially, how could that inform, not override, approach augmenting human skills, not replacing them, unlock even more hidden value?
That's a great question. Where else could this type of smart automation, this human-AI partnership, make a difference? Definitely something to think about. We encourage you to continue your own deep dive.
For more insights like these, don't forget to subscribe to Logistics Pulse on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.